I asked her in the interview, I said, have you ever remote viewed
Oh, she's a psychic.
crucifixion? Yeah. And she did not want to answer that. She started rubbing her teeth and like moving her head back and forth. And
Why? 5 or 6 of them who had hellish near-death experiences and cried out to God, and Jesus saved them, and they're all Christian pastors or missionaries today.
Wow.
I don't know if you guys remember this, but I reacted to Sean talking to this psychic about Jesus. She didn't want any part, and I remember thinking it was so demonic and, the power of Jesus, and they don't want to talk about Jesus.
have you tried to look into religion at all, such as the crucifixion?
Like what?
You have? Do you not want to talk about that?
And so now he brings it up with Lee Strobel.
Steve Kahn, who was a Buddhist, who this Buddha figure appears to him as he did a death bowl. You know what that is? It's like smoking a bowl of marijuana, but laced with PCP and meth and crack, all kinds of stuff. And about day 8, 9, 10 of not sleeping after doing this, the same Buddha figure who used to appear to him in the temple in Korea appears to him and starts to convince him that it would be best if he went ahead and took his life, and if he does, he'll get 50,000 years less of hell.
What?
And for some reason, he decides that's a great idea, and he slits himself with a butcher knife across his stomach. His mother sees it, calls the police. The police come. He also cuts his throat, and he dies, and he is descending. He knows he's going to hell, and he realizes this nice Buddha figure is not Buddha at all. This old man that he thought was, a Buddha figure was not at all. He was demonic. And he realizes that.
That is wild. You guys got to be careful for sure on what things you're worshiping, because sometimes it's not what you think.
The other side. And he actually ends up getting rescued by Jesus.
Wow.
No way.
Who tells him, no more drugs, no more Buddhism, and I love you.
Wow.
And he's a pastor today.
What?
Wow.
So not everything that appears good is always good. You remember Howard Storm, who had the near-death experience, the atheist college
people
professor?
lured him.
These really nice people in the hallway. He doesn't even know he's dead. And they're dressed like the hospital staff. And they're like, Howard, come with us. He's like, I need surgery. And, oh, we know all about you. Come with us. They seem real nice. And like I like to point out, if Howard's near-death experience had ended right there, he would have had a very different interpretation.
Right.
But he followed them, and they lead him into an outer darkness, just like Jesus talked about,
No way.
where they just, worst prison scene you can imagine, until he calls out to Jesus to save him. And he does.
Wow.
And he leaves his tenured professorship and becomes a Christian pastor as well.
Yeah.
In fact, do you know I know Howard, Kyle, Paul, Yen, who's another Buddhist that Jesus saved. Who's the other one I just said? Kyle, Howard. 5 or 6 of them who had hellish near-death experiences and cried out to God, and Jesus saved them, and they're all Christian pastors or missionaries today.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's wild. You can't make this stuff up. Like, how do you explain that?
I mean, it's an interesting subject. I've interviewed a handful of them, and one of them was Angela Ford, and she had done a lot of work for the government and found some missing kids and stuff. And I asked her in the interview, I said, have you ever remote viewed
Oh, she's a psychic.
crucifixion? Yeah. And she did not want to answer that. She started rubbing her teeth and like moving her head back and forth, and
Why?
I didn't want to dig any deeper. It was, I mean, she was really open the whole interview, and then when I asked her that, it just
shut down.
like she switched.
Well, and here's the thing. Again, I don't think necessarily people know.
Right.
And I think that's part of the problem is that I don't think they're necessarily evil, wicked people. They many times have good intentions and good motives.
True.
And again, the best deception is 80-90% true.
Yeah.
And so I think, like Lee was saying, I think sometimes you can have things that are helpful, but are they in fact helpful for a reason to
Yeah,
get
right.
people to follow after them, not after God?
Yeah.
It was interesting. I mean,
bet.
she said, yes, I have. And I said, do you want to talk about it? And she just started rubbing her teeth.
Have you tried to look into religion at all, such as the crucifixion?
That's crazy. She's just rubbing her teeth. There's power in the name of Jesus, and psychics know. I know people who are psychics and like they look into energy and sources and stuff, but when they meet a really devout Christian who's led by the Spirit, there's something changes, and they're like, "What power do you have? This is wild." Like what?
Do you have? Do you not want to talk about that? Okay.
That's so creepy.
Do you want to talk about? You had mentioned you had had a UFO experience.
Moving her eyes around, and
Wow.
it was
Well, look, here's the thing: is
scared the hell out of me, to be honest.
well,
I bet.
when like Randy, the CEO I interviewed, when the 6 embolisms traveled up his leg and pulmonary embolism, his heart stops, body shuts down, he's rising up, and he looks out over the surface of the earth, but there was something else going on. Again, you're moving into another dimensionality, I believe. But he sees a battle going on. And he believes it was a battle for his soul, because he was really struggling with God. He'd gone through a lot of stuff, and was really struggling with God. Even though he's a believer, he was struggling. But he sees this battle going on. And, Jesus talked about that. I mean, he said, the ruler of this world is coming. This is before his crucifixion. The ruler of this world, I thought he was the King of Kings, the Messiah. What about God, the Father,
Yeah.
Well, God has given the demonic angelic host rule for a time. For
They're
a
on a
time.
leash, but they're still.
And again, I think it's part of God's plan. This is a very diminutive experience. This is like a 1/1000th of the goodness to come or the horrors to come. And it's a time of living, of knowing good and evil and choosing,
yeah.
with the opportunity for a second chance. Again, when time is not linear, there's no such thing as a second chance. There's no second.
Yeah.
It's eternity. And so I think that's what Easter was all about. It's grace. It's God giving us chance after chance after chance of forgiveness
Yeah.
to get things right, to learn and to grow, and to become more and more of what he created us to be.
Yeah.
Lee, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just going to reference. I interviewed a scholar on this question of psychics, and
Yeah, so pay attention here because he's going to read a verse about what you should do for mediums and things you shouldn't.
so forth for my book. And this is what he said. The Bible condemns all forms of occultism. Leviticus 19:26 commands, do not practice divination or seek omens. Similarly, Leviticus 19 verse 31 warns, do not turn to mediums. Sorry, I don't have my reading glasses. Do not turn to mediums or seek out spiritists, for you will be defiled by them. The Old Testament asserts that those who associate with familiar spirits are cursed by God. Furthermore, Exodus 22:18 and Leviticus 20:27 mandate that sorcerers and mediums living at that time be put to death. Deuteronomy 18 verses 10 through 12 is explicit. Let no one be found among you who is a medium or spiritist or who consults the dead. Anyone who does these things is detestable to the Lord. Revelation 9:21 promises that all who practice sorcery will face God's judgment. Their destiny is not heaven, but rather the lake that burns with fire and sulfur. Take a look at Revelation 21 verse 8 and 22 verse 15. So
Wow.
I think you're right. I
Wow.
think there's some pretty
Which I
strong-
have friends who, I'm thinking through the lens of, and so again, if we didn't tell you all this reason to believe that God was actually inspiring the writing of the scriptures to know his will
Yeah.
and understand. But I have friends who both had a near-death experience and now are mediums. Is a
Really?
medium. Oh yeah.
Interesting.
And I've said to her the same thing.
Yeah.
But just hearing that fresh, I'm like,
Yeah.
dang. You
I know.
Yeah, that doesn't sound good.
No, it doesn't sound good. Seriously, I mean, I think it's
But
a dangerous
again,
area.
but again, okay.
I think it's dangerous because of how Satan may intervene in ways that people are unconscious of and lead people to conclusions that are not biblical.
Yeah, what I wanted to say
Right.
is I would hear that, and some people may be saying, "Oh, so you're saying they're just cursed and damned, and there's no hope for them."
No.
That's
No.
what I take it.
Exactly, and that's not
Yeah,
what
yeah.
he's saying.
There's repentance, there's hope.
There's for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the thief on the cross, it was
Yeah.
last minute. All he said was, "Remember me."
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't. So,
Yeah.
so is, and so this doesn't mean keep practicing it.
Right.
But is that the unforgivable sin? No, it's not.
No.
David King David committed adultery.
No matter where you're watching Sean Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of
That's absolutely wild.